You know that feeling, right? It's the moment every single homeowner dreads. You're just relaxing, maybe watching TV, you happen to look up, and there it is. A small, kind of dark stain spreading across your ceiling. Ugh. Your mind immediately leaps to the roof, and then, of course, to your wallet. So let's talk about it. Let's break down what a roof repair could really cost you right here in Kansas City. So you've spotted it, the evidence of a leak. Now, the big question is, are we talking about a couple $100 or a few thousand? You know, that uncertainty is the worst part. But that's exactly what we're going to clear up today. All right, let's get right to it. The magic number, based on all the latest data for Kansas City, is $777. That's your average cost for a typical asphalt shingle roof repair. But, and this is a big but, before you go and budget for exactly that amount, you've got to know that this number is just a beginning. It's just a starting point. So first up, let's tackle what I'm calling the $777 question. We're going to unpack what that average really means for you. Yeah, think of that $777 as a baseline. It's a good number to have in your head, but the final invoice you get is going to swing up or down based on a few really crucial things that are specific to your house and your roof's actual problem. Okay, on to section 2. Let's start decoding that price tag. We're going to look at what a roofer is actually quoting you for when they hand you that estimate. So what really moves the needle on cost? Well, it's a mix of stuff. First off, the type of roof you have is a huge one. Then there's the extent of the damage. I mean, a few missing shingles is a whole different world from a major leak that's been going on for a while. Of course, the size of the repair matters too. And then you've got the pitch of your roof. A really steep roof? That's way harder and more dangerous to work on, which means higher labor costs. And those typically run between $60 and $100 an hour here in KC.
And here you can see that material difference in black and white. Your standard asphalt shingle repair, there's our number again, averaging $777. But look at this. If you have a metal roof, that average jumps all the way up to $1,360. That's nearly double. So right away, just knowing what your roof is made of is the first step to managing your expectations.
This table is super helpful because it breaks down the cost ranges for specific jobs. So that ceiling stain we talked about, well, it points to a leak, and that could run you anywhere from $360 to over $1,500. But something simpler, like a flashing repair, that might only be a couple $100. It kind of gives you a practical menu of what to brace yourself for, depending on the diagnosis.
Now, this all leads to a question that I know a lot of homeowners ask themselves. Hey, maybe I should just fix this myself. So let's dive into the DIY versus pro dilemma.
Look, the temptation to save some cash is real, I get it. And for a tiny, super obvious fix, maybe DIY seems smart. But you're trading that saved labor cost for some pretty serious risks. We're talking about your own safety up on a ladder, you get zero warranty on your work, and there's a really high chance you might misdiagnose the real problem, which could just make things worse. On the other hand, hiring a pro, yeah, it costs more upfront, but what you're really paying for is their expertise, their safety, and a warranty that gives you peace of mind.
And here's the bottom line, the crucial point. Trying to save $100 on labor today could so easily turn into a $2,000 repair tomorrow when that little patch you made fails. It's a huge gamble.
All right, so you've decided to hire a pro. Smart move. But how do you make sure you're getting a fair shake? Well, welcome to your Smart Consumer Playbook. Here are 4 simple, easy steps to protect yourself. 1. Always get at least 2 or 3 different quotes to compare. 2. Don't just accept a price. Ask them for a detailed report that explains exactly what's wrong. 3. Make sure you review an itemized cost breakdown. You want to know exactly where your money is going. And finally, step 4, take advantage of the fact that a lot of KC roofers offer free inspections. This whole process puts you back in the driver's seat.
Of course, there's another major player in this whole game, isn't there? Your insurance company. It's the question on everyone's mind. Are they actually going to foot the bill for this? So here are the general rules of thumb. Insurance is really designed for sudden, accidental stuff, like a big hailstorm or crazy high winds tearing off shingles. It's not for problems that just pop up from old age or because the roof wasn't maintained. Now, if you do have a valid claim, you need to be ready. You're going to need photos of the damage, a formal report from a licensed roofer, and that itemized estimate we were just talking about.
So look at that. The next time you see that dreaded water stain, you won't feel that same gut punch of panic. Why? Because you know the average cost, you know what factors drive the price up or down, and you have a playbook to find a fair deal. You're not in the dark anymore. You're prepared.
So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you're armed with all this info, what's the very first warning sign you're going to proactively look for on your own roof so you can catch a small problem before it becomes a big, expensive one?